This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 150, baby. Oh yeah, that's a big number, isn't it? Probably should have done something like special for this episode, but I definitely haven't. It's just me and Dan the Man having a normal, ridiculous chat. Who chooses these numbers anyway? Why is 150 special? Why not, I don't know, 162? Maybe I will do something for episode 162 really special, okay? That's the rock and roll spirit. Do what you want. Don't follow the crowd. Or the other situation is that I just didn't realise it was episode 150. I had already made the podcast and then I thought, oh fuck, I haven't got time to make another one. So hopefully next time I will recognise the fact that it is an important episode before. Anyway, that is enough of me talking. Here is the conversation with me and Dan the Man. Remember, all of the rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com, episode 150. And if you want a podcast every day, rockandrollenglish.com/family. Here is the conversation. Happy listening. Dan the Man, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Always fantastic, Dan. Always fantastic. How is working at home? Still enjoying it?
Yeah, it's still good. The banter's good.
The banter?
Yeah, with myself.
Just so people don't know what banter is, it's what we have a lot on this show, actually, when you kind of make jokes about each other, you know, make fun of each other, what colleagues do. I can imagine you doing that to your poster of like a rock climber or something, Dan.
No, to the mirror.
To the mirror, sure. Anyway, Dan, how do we usually start the show?
With a review.
I'm not going to ask you if we have a review because I've just told you that we do. And this is from Marina from Spain. And it starts with, this is Marina from Spain. I believe it's about time to make a review for this hilarious podcast that is making my English learning funny every single morning with Martin and his friends. Dan the Man, the Hellraiser, Clarification Charlie, and Sabrina. Sabrina is actually only in the family. People don't know about Sabrina. I am amazed how funny they can be while talking about whatever they are up to. I can notice how much they care about each other too. How much do you care about me, Dan, from 1 to 10?
Oh. Well, what's high?
10. 10's the highest.
I'll go with 8.
I was hoping you were going to say 11, but never mind. It goes on to say, lovely friendship. Even though they live in different parts of the world, they have been bringing me so many positive things. Some really nice rock and roll grammar there as well. Some present perfect continuous. Really down-to-earth people. Some more rock and roll vocabulary there, like really normal people, let's say. Always there to help you if you need it. I got addicted to this podcast and I can't stop listening to them. Thanks for your daily work. You guys will get everything with your lovely personalities and good vibe. Just in love with you bitches.
Wasn't expecting that outro.
Yeah, it took a unexpected turn, but a nice turn. A very nice unexpected turn. Thank you very much for that, Marina.
Yeah, that's very good.
Anyway, Dan, do you know what today's show is about?
No.
I don't know why I find that funny, but I still do. I know that, you know, it probably shouldn't be funny, but I still find it funny, and that's the important thing.
Okay. Well, so what are we talking about?
So I think yesterday, tomorrow, I can't remember, is Brothers' Day, so which celebrates the family and especially brothers. Oh, the 24th of May, actually, and it's a great day, apparently, to let your brother know how much he means to you. The day has its own hashtag as well. It was quite a thing on the website. It says it has its own hashtag Brothers' Day. I was thinking, it's not the most inventive hashtag in the world, is it?
I've never heard of this.
And it's just one of those shit days. There's a day for everything, isn't there? Soon there'll be a Dan the Man Day. Okay, that's how shit these days are.
Let's rejoice that one.
Exactly. So, rock and roll vocabulary. Let's rejoice it. Let's celebrate it. So, Dan, do you think you'll be hearing from your sister? Will she be sending you a message to let you know what a wonderful brother you are?
She sometimes doesn't reply to my own messages, so I highly doubt it.
Dan the Man's sister was on an episode once. I can't remember the number. It was when it was Dan the Man's birthday. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that. I would guess it was about number 65. I don't know. So I've got some general stuff about siblings, actually. What are siblings? Dictionary, Dan.
Brothers or sisters.
Brothers or sisters. Just the general word for both of them. Because, you can't say to someone, have you got any brothers or sisters? That's too much of a mouthful, too much to put in your mouth. So
you can say that.
Yeah, you can, but you want to say less, don't you, Dan? I've got a lot of things to do. Okay, I know you work from home and just sit there. I'm not going to say doing what, but I can imagine looking at strange websites and doing things.
Please stop imagining me doing anything. Okay, that's in your head. Okay.
But I've got things to do, so I haven't got time to say brothers or sisters. I need less words, so I just say, do you have any siblings?
But you've got time to imagine me on dodgy websites.
Always. So dodgy websites, strange, weird. So there's some stuff about sisters here, brothers and siblings. So apparently sisters, Dan, make you kinder. If you have a sister, you are kinder. Do you feel kinder because you have a sister?
Yes.
Okay, again, thanks for your wonderful answer.
Well, do you think I'm kinder because I have a sister?
Well, I haven't known you with a brother, but I think you're an absolute bastard. So,
can you imagine if I had a brother?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. So when I say what I'm getting at, exactly what I want to say. Imagine if you had a brother. What a bastard you would be then. The next one is my favourite, though. Apparently, if you've got a sister, it makes the brother better at speaking to women.
I don't believe that one's true.
So is this where your magic touch comes from, Dan the Man, because you've got a sister? Did you practice with your sister? Did she say to you, okay, let's pretend, okay, we're in a bar, I'm standing here, just come over to me and you need to chat me up. No. So when you chat a woman up, it's when you talk to them in a kind of romantic way and your intention is basically to bring them to bed.
Listen, I'm sure that's probably true for most people, but my sister didn't start talking to me until she was 23, so...
Well, you didn't start talking to girls till you were 25, so that works out perfectly.
So maybe it is right, yeah.
So then, obviously, as soon as she did start talking to you, you just said to each other, right, okay, let's do the practice. You're a girl, I'm a boy.
So
and then...
is that your excuse because you don't have a sister?
What, that I'm not very good at talking to women?
Yeah. Although, yeah. I always remember you were good at talking to women, weren't you?
Well,
I'm sure you were.
Well, Dan, I don't want to blow my own trumpet. So if you don't want to blow your own trumpet, you don't want to say how wonderful you are. But, well, I wouldn't say good, but definitely better than you. Definitely better than you.
Well, no, you're only better than me because I just didn't speak to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I spoke to them, not with much success, but at least I was out there. At least I was trying, okay? God loves a trier, as they say. Okay, I was trying.
What went wrong?
Honestly, I mean, where do you want to start? I could tell you, I could talk for hours and hours about all of the things that went wrong. But one story that sticks in the mind, I was in a bar with Boom Boom Cannon, actually, and a girl spoke to me. I think she just basically said, do you know where the toilet is? And I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Do you want my number?
Exactly. I was thinking, I'm definitely in here. So when you're in, it's when you're, let's say, in a good position, thinking, this is going well, this is going well. So she said, like, where's the toilet? And I said, oh, I don't know. And maybe tried to come up with a funny comment. And then I remember sort of dancing a little bit, just trying to play it cool. So there's a nice term as well, play it cool, like, not get too excited. And I sort of moved to my right, looking away from her, just, dancing still. Then I moved to my left to talk to her again. And I remember I started speaking and I think I just sort of said something like, oh, the toilets in here are great. By which point she had already left. So I was just talking to no one.
Did Boom Boom hear this?
Boom Boom didn't hear, but I specifically remember him looking directly at me and just seeing me thinking I was talking to a girl, but actually talking to no one.
But aside from you talking to no one, you said the toilets are great here.
I mean, I'm just inventing that. I don't know. I can't remember what I actually said. Something ridiculous, whatever it was. Probably something like that, because that's how great my chat was. But as I said, Dan, at least I was trying. So apparently siblings as well, in general now, not just sisters, make family dinners less awkward. So less awkward, remember, kind of like embarrassing in a social way. Have you experienced that, Dan?
In what way, though?
Well, just you've got nothing to talk about, and then you just sort of get your sibling to say something.
Well, I don't really get embarrassed at family dinners. So
You get embarrassed by everything, Dan, just being alive.
I get embarrassed by you, but that's it.
Speaking of awkward family dinners, I'm not going to say which sibling or anything because I don't want to give names. So let's just call these people Mike and Dave, right? Mm-hmm. So someone had told Mike's family, okay, that Dave's girlfriend was a bit fat. Okay, the classic thing, just saying, oh, whew, Dave's girlfriend's got really fat recently. We were at the dinner. And then Mike said, "Oi, Dave, I've heard that your girlfriend's really fat now."
Oh, my God.
That was a true story. I was on the table. The names are not correct. And then there was just this silence. What can you say to that? Luckily, the girlfriend wasn't there. So that's the only way it could have been any worse.
Can anyone get to a point in life where they think that is socially acceptable?
I hear your girlfriend's really fat now. Oh, yeah, she is, yeah. Thanks for telling everyone in front of my whole family.
Was he saying it in like, I'm trying to be funny, or was he...
No,
just trying...
when he said it, he very much went red and suddenly realised what he had said. I think it was just one of those moments of awkward silence. I need to say something. And then this was the first thing that came out of his mouth. And it was very, very, very embarrassing.
Yeah, that is awful.
So the next one is going out with your sibling, going out drinking. Do you ever go out with your sister, Dan, on the piss, as we say? So if you go on the piss, you go out drinking.
I never used to, but now I've been in France and I come back, I'll go for a drink. But yeah, not really. Yeah,
I same as me, really. I didn't used to like going out with my brother, mainly because he used to get so drunk that it was beyond embarrassing. I'll never forget once being in a nightclub. One of the very few times that I did go out with him, it was actually me, my brother, and the Hellraiser. And my brother was in just an embarrassing state. And I remember he had been sick on himself, so he actually had sick on him. And I just remember him... when someone's so drunk and they're talking and they're like out of breath, like it's difficult, they just go, Martin. I don't know why. He hadn't been doing any sort of, physical activity, any exercise, but he was out of breath just from being alive was too much for him. And he said, let's go back on the dance floor. I want to pull some birds.
Did he pull?
He didn't pull. So when you pull birds, that's like a way to say, find some women, let's say. And I just remember looking at him thinking, oh my God.
How old was you at the time?
How old was you? Sort out your grammar, Dan.
Do you know what? As I said that, I thought, oh, that's wrong. But I thought it's going to be okay because the amount of times I've done transcripts where you've been speaking and I just edit what you've been said,
That was so wrong, though. How old was you? How old were you? Okay.
I was going to say, how old was your brother? And then I got cross.
Okay. My brother was probably 18. I was 17. But I'm happy to say he's cleaned his act up now. So if you clean up your act, it's when you get a bit older and you don't really do that sort of stupid stuff anymore. He's a bit cleaner now. He's got no sick on him, which is very good.
I remember when you were about 18, 19 and you told me you were out drinking in a bar with your friends and then you got a tap on the shoulder. You turned around, it was your dad.
Once actually, me, my dad and my brother were in the same bar on a night out, very randomly. It was a very strange...
I think that might have been the story, mightn't it?
Yeah, maybe. It was a very strange experience. So this one's an important question, Dan. Do you buy your sibling a present on their birthday? So do you buy your sister a present?
Yeah, of course.
Do you? See, I sometimes do. Depends. My rule is if I'm in the country, I will buy him a present. If I'm not, it's 50-50. It's 50-50.
Oh, well, I don't think that's an excuse because I just go onto Amazon and just like order a couple of books or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've done that a bit recently, but you can get away with it if you're not in the country. That's the benefit. So you get away with it. You can escape without punishment.
I normally buy. I buy people presents at Christmas as well. You don't, and you find that incredibly strange. I've rocked up a few times and given you a present at Christmas, and you go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I think the last time I gave you a pair of socks at Christmas, and you didn't give me a present.
The year before, you said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, but then as soon as I did it, where was your present, Dan? Nowhere to be seen.
Plus, your pair of socks cost you 99p. I don't think that counts as a present. You probably got it free when you bought something else.
I think it was like buy 2 pairs, get the third one free, and I gave you the third pair. But it's the thought that counts, Dan. It's the thought that counts. So going back to this siblings chat. So obviously you're the eldest sibling. I'm the youngest. We're both one of two. What do you think's better, Dan, to be the oldest or the youngest?
The youngest.
Why?
Just because I think you don't have to. You can do what you want.
And so you can't do what you want. So you live your life as a freelance human being.
There's more pressure being the eldest, I think.
Sure.
What do you think's better?
Probably the youngest as well, for the exact reason that you said. That's why I have been able just to do nothing until this age, pretty much, because I'm the youngest, Even though there's like a year and a half between me and my brother. My brother's like married, got children, but he's older, I will do that one day.
Well, you're doing it soon.
Well, one step at a time, Dan. One step at a time. So, the big question, which are better, brothers or sisters?
These questions are absolutely terrible. Brothers.
I mean, how can you say that when you've got a sister? I thought you were going to say it's a terrible question because I can't say brothers because
I'm saying from her perspective. From her perspective, it must be great having a brother.
It must be great having me as a brother. Oh yeah. How great would it be to have Dan the Man as a brother?
No, I'm a terrible brother, but I think you're probably a terrible brother as well.
Yeah, but I'm happy that I've got a brother. It'd be weird having a sister. I just can't imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, well, her and my mum gang up on me, I think, sometimes. So.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so they gang up on me. They form a kind of gang and sort of attack me, let's say. Okay, so there is one more question, actually. Should siblings stay in contact with each other for as long as they live, for all of their lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
can you imagine if I said no?
You get to 18 and then you don't really need to speak to them anymore. The reason I'm asking that actually is because I saw someone, basically, one of my brother's friends a few years ago, and obviously I hadn't seen him in years, and he hadn't seen my brother in years, and the thing we had in common was my brother, and he said to me, "Do you still see him?" And I was like, "Of course I fucking see him. He's my brother." It's not like we just sort of lost contact.
Do you think you'll speak to him for the rest of your life? Can you imagine being 80, 90 years old and you'll still be close?
Well, I bloody hope so, unless he cuts me loose. So when you cut someone loose, you just say, "That's enough. I'm cutting you out of my life," which could happen.
Yeah, could happen.
Could happen, but hopefully it won't. Anyway, I think that's the end of our siblings chat. So happy Brothers' Day to you, Dan, for the 24th.
Are you calling me a brother?
No, because you are a brother of someone else.
Kind of sounds like that.
Well, you
read between the lines.
You read between the lines, but in an incorrect way. Anyway, thanks a lot, as always, for your time, Dan the Man. We will see you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me and Dan the Man speaking about siblings and Brothers' Day and all the rest of it. Dan the Man said that the banter is good when he works at home. So banter is, as I said, generally what we have on the podcast. When you make fun of someone, they make fun of you, but in a jokingly way. Then in the review, Marina said that everyone on the podcast is really down to earth. So we usually use this for famous people, actually. when someone famous, you might expect them to be a bit of a snob, but they're just normal people. They are down to earth. Dan the Man said we need to rejoice the Dan the Man Day if it ever happens. So to rejoice something, to celebrate it. Then we had the word siblings as well. We had that a lot, didn't we? Which is the general name for brothers and sisters. Instead of saying, have you got any brothers or sisters? Have you got any siblings? Much easier, because I said, have you got any brothers or sisters is too much of a mouthful. So your mouth is literally full of words. It's too much. Then I was imagining Dan the Man on dodgy websites. So if something is dodgy, it's not so safe, let's say. It's a bit disturbing, a bit worrying. Then I said that Dan the Man is not very good at talking to girls. And I think he said, oh, are you trying to say I'm not very good at talking to girls? And I said, that is exactly what I'm getting at. So when you are getting at something, it's when you're trying to say something. It's usually used in a question. What are you getting at? What do you want to say? Then we had the term chat someone up. When you chat up a girl can chat up a boy, I suppose. That's when you go over there and you start talking and you say some wonderful things and they fall in love with you. It's exactly what happened with me and Mrs. Rock and Roll English, because if we look at just sort of beauty, she is much higher than me. So I had to use something else. I had to use conversation to capture her. So I chatted her up. Then Dan the Man said that I was good at talking to girls. And I said, well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet. So I don't want to say I'm fantastic. But generally what's followed by that is, but, I don't want to blow my own trumpet. I don't want to say I'm fantastic, but I probably will. And then I said the girl that asked me where the toilet was, I thought I'm definitely in. So when you are in, you think, okay, this is going perfect. I'm inside here. This plan is going perfect. And I said I was trying to play it cool. Just act like there was nothing going on, just a normal day, having a conversation with a girl, which was not very normal for me in those days. We had the term go on the piss when I asked Dan, do you go on the piss with your sister? Very British slang there that means do you go out and drink? And speaking of British slang, we had the next one, pull some birds, which means to find women, let's say. The word bird used to describe women, we spoke about this before about, 20 episodes ago, and Clarification Charlie was not so happy about it. So hopefully she is not listening to this. Then I was talking about my brother and that he had sick on him, and I said, but he's cleaned up his act now. Quite self-explanatory that, really, isn't it? If you're doing sort of horrible, disgusting things and you clean up your act, you're obviously not doing them anymore because you're clean. And we had the term get away with it as well. We have that almost every week. That is how common that phrasal verb is. So to do something without punishment. Dan the Man then said that his mum and sister gang up on him. So they form a gang and they fight against him, let's say. And the final piece of vocabulary was cut me loose, when I said, unless my brother cuts me loose, I hope to speak to him forever. So when you cut someone loose, you cut them out of your life, let's say. You say, goodbye, I'm cutting you loose. Anyway, that is all of the rock and roll vocabulary for today. Remember, this is all on the website, rockandrollenglish.com, episode 150. If you want a podcast every day with a transcript every day, rockandrollenglish.com/family. Thanks for listening, everyone. I will see you again next week. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.